Hey guys, Bradley here with Everyday Outdoors, and today is the in-depth review on the Hunter's Kloak Rut Rouser. Alright, so to kick off the in-depth, Everyday Outdoors is brought to you by Hunter's Kloak and Backwoods Grind Coffee. Now, the big question, is this thing worth $100? That's a lot of money for this thing, considering that the Hunter's Kloak Gen 2 is like 50 or 60, somewhere in there. If you don't know about this thing, be sure to go check out the 2018 product lineup. I'll put that in the description below, and it runs over all the specs, all the information on this thing. This is an in-depth review, so I won't be talking about any specs, so if you want to know those, go watch the last video. Alright, so this thing is a lot different from the Gen 2 Mister. It puts 2 scents out at once, which is pretty neat. My thoughts on it are pretty good. I do like it. I don't know if I like it as much as the Gen 2 Mister. And remember, this thing is first generation. They have not come out with a second one of these yet, so this is their very first model. We'll start out with the pros. So I really love the quality feel of this thing. This thing is built solid. It feels great. The buttons all feel good. If you drop this thing, it will not break. I love the build of this thing. It works well. I had no bugs with the system itself. Puts out powerful mist, just like the Gen 2 Mister. They're probably using like the same misting thing. I don't know what it is. But no bugs with the actual system. It has worked every time I turned it on. Worked great. Now, the only bug I had was with the remote. And this was kind of a bummer because this is the thing that I was most looking forward to on the Rut Rouser. But the remote is where most of the problems are. Here's the remote for the Rut Rouser. It has all the controls that this part right here has on it, same controls. One thing that's weird though is you have to turn it on first and then you get the green light. You can't turn it on with the remote, you can only turn it off. So if you hit the button, it doesn't turn on, you have to turn it on and then you hit the, well, it's out of batteries, but you hit the power button and it'll turn it off. But once you turn it on, you can do all the controls from the remote. However, the remote, it worked really well while it was working. It's not working now. The battery is dead. It only lasted a couple of hunts before the battery died. And the weird thing is the battery it takes is a 27A, I think it is. And I've heard that that is a really uncommon battery. Like, you can't just go into the store and pick up a 27A. You have to order them online. So I don't know if they had to do that. If they had to do it, then I totally understand. But it kind of stinks because it's kind of an inconvenient battery to have. But like I said, maybe that was the only one they could have used. But if they could use another one, then that would be optimal. Now, I personally didn't have any bugs with the remote. I did have a viewer say that they got 2 different systems, and both times the remote did not work. I didn't have that problem, but that person did. So, and like I said, this is a first generation product. I'm sure in the next Rut Rouser, they're going to knock out most of these bugs. And even for being a first generation product, it still worked great. Without the remote, I had no bugs with this thing. It worked absolutely perfect. The only cons I have for the Rut Rouser itself is it's not very, I guess, ergonomic is the right word. Because it's so odd shaped and kind of big and bulky. I could see someone who likes to run and gun or uses a climber stand and is going deep into public land. They probably wouldn't bring this just because it's kind of inconvenient. It's really big. I mean, not hugely big, but it's pretty large. So for reference, this is the Gen 2 Mister. Here's my hand. I've got normal size hands. So it fits in my hand. This thing is pretty small, almost the same size. The Kloak is just a little bit thicker, but they're practically the same size. Now for reference, the Rut Rouser is way bigger, which I understand why they had to do that, because they have to fit 2 cartridges in this thing. So really there might not be a choice there. They probably just had to make it that big. But if it could be shrunk down, then that would be better because it is so big. But for hunters like me who don't do a lot of run and gun and don't go chasing deer deep down into the woods, then this would be fine, because people like that probably have more space to bring something like this. I was able to fit it in my backpack. absolutely fine, no problems. And I don't care for the stand. Now, I didn't have this thing tip over or fall over, but I would worry about that because the stand is not any wider. I would be a little bit nervous that in really high winds, this thing would be very likely to tip over. I didn't have that problem. I just see that being a possibility in certain situations. I could see that being a problem, but not really a problem. So in the end, this thing, it works well. But if I had to choose between this and the Gen 2 mister, I would probably go to the Gen 2 mister just because of its size, and they do basically the same thing. This one puts out 2 cents, which is great for when you're using the buck and doe urine, but when you're not using buck and doe urine, then you might as well just use this. So this thing, I think it is worth it. It's a great product. It's built well, no bugs hardly at all. I would just recommend the Gen 2 mister over this one simply because its size and it's more convenient. That being said, like I said, I still love this thing. Still works great. And if you want to use it with the buck and doe urine scents, then this thing is the way to go. Alright, hope you enjoyed that review. If you have any questions or comments about the Rut Rouser, please go down in the comments and I will answer any questions you guys have. If you want to buy this thing, be sure to go to hunterskloak.com in the description below and use my discount code TrueOutdoors20 and that will get you 20% off. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed Everyday Outdoors, and until next time, God bless.